Hey guys, welcome to the show. We have a lot to talk about today. Today's everything NFT, non-fungible tokens. Some of you know what it is. Some of you have no idea what it is, but guess what? It's probably going to change the world. So ready, headset, and let's go. Welcome back to the show, guys. I'm Tony Hanson, joined by Rob Sprance, and today we're looking at NFTs. So what are they? I'll start off with Rob. What do you know right now about NFTs?
Yeah, great way to phrase that. So, from what I understand, it's any type of digital media that normally you'd be able to just get, but now has some type of encryption to it so that you'd have to buy it or own it or prove that you own it somehow. And it's become, which I'm skeptical about, but the concept is that it's an investment. So if this piece of artwork goes up as an NFT, you buy it at a limited time. Only certain people can buy, I guess, similar to a crypto where you can buy into it and its value falls and rises accordingly. That's what I think it is.
Right. So it starts off. We talked about in a past episode just about how augmented reality is coming into play, how we are moving forward. And if you think about it, things are becoming less about being paper in front of you and more okay that it's actually digital. And there's been a lot of problems in the past. Bruce Willis in the past actually brought up, I remember an article reading that he was talking about with somebody in his family, and they were bringing up the fact that they don't own their music. And I think that was probably from the perspective of, like, in my day, we had records and CDs, and what are you doing? You're on Spotify listening to music, but you're paying for subscription. It's not like the old days. You don't own that music. So that's just like a small example of kind of what we're talking about. So what is NFTs? Non-fungible tokens. This is tokenizations of digital assets or any, and it can be used in a variety of different ways. So what are we seeing right now? In the beginning, we're seeing this craziness where people are selling artwork for thousands, if not even sometimes millions of dollars.
Sometimes
And
nothing but like 16-bit like pixel art too. It's not. I've seen a lot of
yes,
it too.
yes. So there's plenty of art out there that is being sold, and it's happening just because it was available, it was finite, and then people are start trading it, and then there's a perceived value. So here's like an idea of how that happens sometimes and why it happens. So people put out something, they make a series of something and they make it limited. So there's only, let's say there's 1,000, even though there's usually way more than that. But let's say there's 1,000. They put out those 1,000, and then they put a price up. And I put a price up for, these are worth $2,000 each. And then no one buys them. And then the people don't understand it. And then you say, okay, you know what? Sale today. I'm putting it down for 1,700, 1,600, 1,500, and somebody buys it at 1,500. All of a sudden, people say, "Oh, look, you bought it 1,500. That's worth 1,500. Maybe it's going to go up. I'm going to get it." People start buying it. Now the price is perceived, that value, 1,500. And then you have these things starting like that. That, again, it's not about the artwork, and people who on the outside looking in will be like, why would that be worth money? But it's the idea that it's an asset that you believe has value, and that's going to go up because it's finite, because people want it. It's almost like we pretended there is hype. People think there's hype, and then there is hype, So people are kind of getting on that bandwagon, and they're following that kind of stuff. And it's a kind of same idea of you own a Van Gogh, and why is it worth money? And now in your mind, you're going to say, Tony, you're talking about a piece of art. I understand that. That's correct. But this is also something that is also art, but it's not really understood yet. So people will create digital artistry in the future that you can purchase in this way that shows ownership by the token, perhaps many shares of one, or you own the one, and that is it. But that is just again, that's one application of everything. The artwork is just the tip of the iceberg, because what are we really talking about? I mentioned music before. So now you can start to buy when it becomes available, and when we get to that stage, you can buy music, or you will be able to buy music online that you own. And if you want to, you could turn around and sell that album or song to somebody else, just like you really own it. Right now we live in the world where it's like pirating is pretty much everywhere. And you would say, like, well, if I want to buy something, I'm just going to go watch it. And yes, I'll subscribe to Disney Plus or something here, or maybe you want to watch it illegally because you think you don't care, so you do that. So it feels like everything's very accessible, but I think there's going to be a change with cryptocurrency comes with the distributed ledger technology and the fact that everything will be transparent and everything will be more tracked. And yes, that worries a lot of people. And yes, it's probably where we're going, and that's our future. Cash is probably going to be gone. Who knows by when? But paper money and coins are going to be laughable to our grandchildren, I'm sure. So everything is going to be tracked. Everything is going to be transparent, and you're going to have a world where you own this stuff. And it's hard to imagine now, but you're gonna own your music. You're gonna own your shows that you've bought, and you're going to own, actually a load of other stuff that we'll talk about in a second. And then if you want to sell that, you're going to sell it as much as you would as if you have, like, I don't know, like something in your house, like an old jukebox or something like maybe you're having an arcade game or something, or an air hockey table, like, and you might sell it out. You'll have some kind of game or music or something, and you will sell that to somebody else. You'll probably do it on a marketplace. And it'll be just like we look at physical, but in the digital world. So tokenization is really important because it's right now, it seems like it's kind of useless, but no, it's really important. You will buy stuff and known to be the owner because it's on distributed ledger technology where everyone can see that it was bought, and it's double and triple confirmed by many other sources. And that's going to be the way of the future. So it has a lot of applications coming up.
See, to me, like, that explains a little more. It just seems like just another way to consume media or to purchase media. Whereas it's being presented to the world as an alternative form of investment. That is the number one angle that everyone takes when they talk about it. It gets lumped in with cryptocurrency a lot because that's considered an investment. I'm not going to go to the bank and buy a dollar and then wonder what the dollar's worth every day. I'm not going to do that. So if you just mean another way to purchase to just ensure that you own it and that you can sell it for, maybe a little more or whatever it's worth down the road, I just wonder if it just seems very pyramid schemish to me, because the only one who really makes money at the end of the day is we're talking about images now. So when you bring up music, that's a different story. I come out with an album and my album is NFT only. Okay, I get that because I'm selling it over and over and over again. Everyone is listening to the album as if they would buy it in a store. The only difference is they bought it that way and they own it as well, and they can sell that individual copy of it. Okay, that is a better example. But in the case of these, what's really being done right now most of the time is just 7 images, 8 images that you buy as a quote unquote investment, but you're not really just buying a digital image. Like, it's no one's gonna pay you for a digital image. I don't see how that's gonna change.
So we'll set aside the fact that you will find perhaps some people that love digital artwork and they want to own it. So that will exist to some percentage, but yes, it's small, right? So let's put that to the side. The people that are buying it and selling it just want to trade. They might as well look at it as a stock market. They want to get in, they want to buy it, they want to let it grow, and they want to sell it. Now, let's put that to the side. Let's talk about this as we're talking about a smart investment. Is that a smart investment now? No. Would you go to Fidelity and they say, like, yes, you should get an NFT for the investment? Absolutely not. If we're talking about investments, the best investments in the world is going to be precious metals, gold, silver, and such, and anything that is like land value, materials, anything like that is gonna be real, true value, even better than cash, as we know, because cash is right now is not based on anything. But it looks like if we look at the future, we see what's happening. We're probably gonna go back to a gold-backed system eventually, and therefore money will have true value probably in the next form. In 2024, the U.S. is going to a FedNow program, which they're going to launch the U.S. digital dollar, which may or may not be backed by, or not backed by, may not be built upon Ripple technology. Which is distributed ledger technology. So everything is going to change. Everything is going to move forward. Does it have value? Yes, but it's to the people that are trading. Is it as safe as other assets that are things that we need and we know that is a form of holding value? Absolutely not. But this is just the tip of the iceberg. We're just starting with this because here's another example. Remember that, yes, before you were saying it's lumped in with crypto. It is because it works on crypto. So crypto is it's almost like the internet of they call it the internet of value because the the internet, as the internet became out, in such in the 90s when it became popular, is just the online versions. We talked about web, 1, 2, and 3, just getting the information on. So we have access to things. You can just, in the beginning, just see the information. And then it was more interactive. And then we were keeping things more in a digitalized database and such. And we're getting to even to the next point right now. So things are changing because cryptocurrency is taking money into the financial system and saying, you know what, we're not going to use this old archaic system. For example, our world system is worked on a platform called Swift, and Swift is 50 years old, and it's pretty much about to either be gone or be transformed by implementing cryptocurrency with it. And you'll have a certain amount of cryptos that are being chosen to be used for it, and the rest of them will be pushed out. Some will be KYC and compliant, know your customer. It'd be the ones that would be, oh yeah, the government of the US says, okay, we like this one's approved, you're approved, you're approved. And then you'll have ones that are clearly not going to be in that mold, and they'll be gone, or they will have to adjust and build upon a DLT that is appropriate and approved. So everything has changed. But now, if you have money going into a financial form, in a digital form rather, you have something like XRP, which can handle, for example, I believe up to 1,500 transactions per second, and it's done on fractions of a penny. And they can even do tons and tons of microtransactions in those transactions, which means that 1,500 isn't really the real figure and go much higher. So we're seeing a difference because now you're going to do things like handle real estate. You're going to buy a home, and it's going to be done by a computer. And you're gonna log on. Of course, maybe a person will be involved in this contract, or you're going to go to a site and just handle the whole thing online. And it'll be safer than what you're doing now. It won't have a notary that's going to stamp it and approve it. You won't need the lawyer and everything. Everything will be worked out in advance. Maybe people will have to do a sign off because it's about, who's taking ownership or giving ownership, but it's all going to be handled on a blockchain network with a smart contract in a way that it can be approved and watched by 2 or 3 different people, or entities. It can be checked at any time, and that's going to be the way of the future. And that's just money going into becoming digital, and how that's gonna interact on a much more serious level than just artwork and music and movies.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's funny you say that because we're closer than you think. Because I just refinanced my home. The rates are low, so I wanted to do it before it comes back up.
Yeah.
And about 10 years ago, I refinanced, and it was a 4 to 5 month process. It was brutal. They call you for this, they call you for that. You got to find it. Either you fax it or you email it, whatever it may be. So now with I use Rocket. I might as well give them a plug because it was great. Within 3 weeks of me doing the application, I'm done.
Mm-hmm.
And not only am I done, I spoke on the phone one time.
Yeah.
And you have this application that says, here's your to-do list every day. Your to-do list says, okay, now I need, your pay stubs for the last 3 weeks. Boom. And you don't even have to scan them. I just go on a website, I download the 3 of them, I upload them. Boom. Okay, you're good for now. Next day, okay, here's your next thing. We need proof of your insurance. Boom, you do that. And the whole thing happened. The only difference was to close, you had to sign. And even then, the guy just comes to the house. He sits down, gives you the papers. Half of them are signed on an iPad. Half of them are on an iPad. And I didn't sign every single one. I signed once. They picked the signature for you. And then the rest of the documents, you go, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Last time was a stack like this.
Yes.
Notarize. Sign. Over and over. You've been through it. Most people have. So that analogy you just gave, we're getting close.
So
this in 3 weeks.
So that, like you mentioned, Rocket. You could even say PayPal, Venmo, Cash App. All of these applications that we're using is right now is handling this middle bracket we're in, you know? And this middle bracket is we're transitioning from a cash society to a cashless society, to a paper society, to a complete digital society. We've been on that route for a while, but we're in the middle. And what that means is that these applications are still dealing with paper transactions, and there's still paper transactions in the background and streamlined with the application in a digital interface, but it's not all digital. And that's what I was mentioning before about the Swift system. It is a archaic system, which it's almost like you have digital on the outsides, but when you go to the infrastructure, it's still the old mechanical structure. So Rocket, represents that middle ground, and eventually you will go to the next form, which will be it's just all done on blockchain, and that's just it. And you'll have a person who's selling it to you, and that's probably all you'll have. And it'll all be done on a large marketplace, and it'll be handled very easily, and it'll be completely digital. So we're living in that middle time. PayPal is handling your money that is cash in a bank being moved, but in the future it'll handle USN, or like a digital US dollar, and it'll all be digital, like Star Wars credits. It'll all be credits.
And I mean, it technically is now, because if you think about it, if I buy something, I go to PayPal and I say, okay, I want to buy, Tony's DVD collection behind him, and
Please,
he
please
will,
have it.
you should have NFT. So, 500, $500, I'll buy your collection. I go on PayPal, I send you $500. There's not a person that drives to the bank, picks up the $500 and drives it to you. It's just, and even the bank transfers from one to another, there's no money really being transferred. They're just transferring numbers. And it's literally a transfer of data from one
Right.
account to another, to this, to that. Somewhere is all of this money. So it's just kind of, it almost is that now.
And consider this: the banks are not even carrying the correct amount of money. They only have to carry a small portion of the money that is actually on their records. So it's truly more digital than people believe. But it's not digital as in its mainframe, as in its actual components, but it's digital in the sense where, like, yeah, on digital form it's there, but is the money there to back it up? No. Kind of like the monetary system we have right now. It's not really backed by anything. It's just, we're kind of just working with numbers. I think what's going to happen in the future is we're going to see that they're trying to make things more accountable. I think we're going to go to a gold-backed system. We're not talking about money right now, but this applies, I guess. We're going to a gold-backed system. Everything's going to get accounted for. And when they do that, they also want to have the digital end. Well, yes, you can have something that's digital and accounted for. They won't make, maybe some things will be infinite because it won't matter. You can have an infinite number of whatever. Maybe someone wants to make a song free and infinite. They don't care. It wants to go out everywhere. It won't be a thing. But, Rob Sprance makes his next album, which you should go out and buy. And he's making 1,000 copies, and that is it. And it'll be in a future time where to duplicate it would be known by the marketplace. And it would say, no, there's not a legal copy. This is fraudulent, and penalty, or we're disrupting the file, we're deleting the file. Who knows? But yeah, that's where we're going.
There's something I could see helping artists for sure. The ability, you just mentioned it, the ability to flag something, because I'm also thinking, okay, I invest in someone's album, right? But you can go just listen to the album on the internet and I think there's two mindsets here. I don't care that I don't own certain albums that I buy, because I still think it's worth it for $10 a month to be able to listen to anything. And I'm
Right.
someone who had walls of CDs and walls of DVDs. So I get what it's like to collect things, and I get what it's like to want to have them for myself. But what I found happening was I would buy a wall of DVDs, and you know what? I'd watch each one of those once, maybe twice.
Right. It's more about
And
the collecting aspect.
it would just sit there. But being able to turn around and sell those, yes, I can see how that is a benefit to that. But you know what? Now I'll go on iTunes, I'll rent a movie for $5, I'll watch the movie, 4K, looks beautiful, and I'm done. And that's it. And I'm okay with that too. But I do get that some people just have this thing where they need to own something, and it needs to be theirs, and that's cool. I just you've explained it a little better to me than other people have, and I do understand it a little better. Because all I thought is in the beginning, all it was people just putting up images, sports, like Michael Jordan. Hey, here's my NFT of 5 pictures of me dunking with some cool graphics, and I'm like, okay, who gives a shit? Because that you can just look at anyway. Like I can. That's the crazy thing is I could just go online and I'm looking at the images that are being sold as NFTs and I'm just looking at them.
Right.
So what's the difference?
Right.
Like what's my benefit to giving you, one Ethereum coin, right?
Right. So
Why would
now,
I'm just looking at it. I can see it in the article. Why would I go get it? It's just
yeah. So now we could also talk about gaming, which is a lot of fun to talk about. So, and I'll use Gala as an example. So Gala has a coin. It's Gala coin, and you can go onto their game. Just imagine like a Dungeons and Dragons type world where there's a ship, and you can buy the ship, and the ship is maybe worth in real life money, probably around like 5,000, 10,000, and plus dollars. And everyone can own some sort of part of the ship together, or you can buy another item for yourself. You even have to have credits in Gala just to start your character. So it's it's interesting because you can own something in the game, kind of feel like a boss, and then have your own. Perhaps I'll say it in grandiose terms. Have your own ship, and you own that ship for real. You're like Han Solo. You own that ship, and you could sell that ship in game. Let's say you stop playing the game. You're like, okay, I'm going to sell my ship to somebody. Put it up, and it's like anything else. If I want to go out in real life and buy a boat, and I'm having a party on my boat, and I'm having fun, then I decide boating's not for me, and I sell the boat. What's the difference if I go into a virtual world and I do that? It's just that the virtual world could one day be not as cool as it was before. Just like boating could be a pastime that is no longer, functional anymore. People don't want to do it, but that's becoming a big part of gaming. It's earning these NFTs that in some cases you can sell on marketplace to trade or buy whatever you want to do, and it changes the way we look at video games completely. It's fascinating.
Yeah, in some ways it ruins it for me because I will
It
tell you this:
hundred
none of
percent.
them, if any of them, do the slightest thing. I should be able to buy a game for 60 $70, whatever it is, and I should be able to get the exact same gaming experience for that money that anyone else gets. Now, I get that you can do cosmetic things. Okay, you can get a new cape for your character that's custom. You go on, you spend $5 and blah blah blah. But there are companies like Electronic Arts, and let's face it, they've been very nefarious a lot of times with things where to get
Oh
a
yeah,
leg up and get a weapon that helps you beat somebody, you give them $20 or you give them 100, whatever it is. That is a problem for gaming.
yeah,
So
yeah.
what we're relying on here is we're relying on publishing corporations to do the right thing for the average gamer, and that's never going to happen. They're always going. The only reason why EA has pulled back on this a little is because of the tremendous backlash they got when they did Star Wars Battlefront, and you had to buy stuff to get to certain parts of the game, and that if the game is free to play
Right.
and those are the conditions, have at it, man. That's fine. I'll pass. We're good. But if you come out with Grand Theft Auto 6 and I go buy it or I NFT it and I own it and I'm playing the game and I find out halfway through the game for another $20 I can go to this area that's closed off, screw you. I mean
Yeah. And
that's the problem.
I think we're going to see all different types of games. You have like Fortnite where you're just buying cosmetic stuff and little things like that, and then you're going to have games where it is pay to play, and some guy wants to put the time and the effort and the money to do it, and he can get it. And usually they make a path for you to earn it, but like, listen, we're adults. We have our own lives. We have less time than a kid playing a game. That kid perhaps needs to put in 40 hours to get to a point where he can buy something, and you're going to get an adult come in and say, listen, I don't have that time, I'm going to buy it. And he's going to buy that 40 hours of time and get there instantly, of course. So, and you'll have some people that won't put it in the game, and you'll have the people that will embrace it, and whatever is king is going to be king because people accept it and they like the model. The metaverse, I think, is going to be all about that because remember, you're buying, like we said, you're buying a boat, but in the metaverse, like I own property in Decentraland. I have a big tower there that says Audio Dungeon, and
Mhm.
it's beautiful. I look at it from time to time, and I feel good about myself.
Mhm.
So
Question will be though, will you feel good about? I won't ask you how much you paid if it's something crazy, but if you want to share, you can. But if you pay $30 for that, okay, I get it. There,
I did not pay $30 for it. So, well, actually, I almost did. So, back in 2017, I got into crypto, and I bought Mana very early on, and I
yep,
bought Mana for like when it was like cents on the dollar. Might have been 7 cents, twelve
yeah, it's
cents, really,
like
really low.
$5 now, isn't it?
It went up to five.
Mhm.
So I bought it when it was so cheap, and I bought a ton of it. And I liked Mana because Mana is magic in Dungeons and Dragons. So I liked Mana, and I didn't know what I was buying. I didn't understand it then, but I bought it and I held it, and then it started going up and up and up and up and up. So then I saw that the announcement from Meta about we're changing. That's when Zuckerberg came out and announced we're focusing on the metaverse. The metaverse just went nuts because it set everybody afire, right? So I immediately was looking at Decentraland the next day, and I was like, this property is going to go. So I bought property near the center. Great spot. And just somebody was getting rid of it. And you could tell the guy just didn't care. And he was selling it for a couple thousand mana, which I have so many. I spent $400, you know, and I bought the property, and everything around me started going crazy and building up. And even a huge digital mall moved in right next to me, and it went up and up and up and up and up and up. So if I sold right now, I would make thousands if I sell it. I'm going to hold on to it just because to me it just what did I pay, and who knows how big it'll go.
Yeah,
So it's exciting and it's interesting, So people are going to build businesses on that land, and people are going to do it because they want to have the experience of living there. We talked about casinos being on there as well, but like yeah, NFTs are the digital version of ownership that is provable and accountable, and it's going to affect our lives in the future with gaming we're seeing now, with art we're seeing now, and it's going to lead to real estate. It's going to lead to decentralized banking and a whole bunch of other stuff that I'm sure we can't even conceive right now. So it's exciting.
I definitely learned some more about it, and while I'm still skeptical, I do understand a lot more of the nuances because I didn't know that before.
It's like
So,
texting. When texting came out, my girlfriend at the time said to me, she's like, "Just text me," and I said, "Why would I text you? I'm just going to call you." She goes,
yeah,
"No, no, just text me." And I was like, "I'm just going to call you." She goes, "No, no, texting is easier." She had to explain to me why it was easier, which sounds absurd when I say it to you now. But at
right,
the time, I was like, "Why would I want to do this and type when I could just talk to you?"
yeah,
And
and
then
now,
now you get it because
yeah,
it makes sense.
yeah. If there's only one person in your life, it's one thing, but you're getting messages now, and just think about how that. And I don't want to go down this whole rabbit hole, but just think about the difference, though. You When we first talked about texting, we thought about how what a impersonal manner of communication to have with
Right.
someone else. But on the other side, because it's very easy to do and you reply when you can, we are talking to way more people than we did before.
Oh yeah. I do so much business on my phone through text that would have taken me probably like an hour if I were to do it out of that.
Right, because on the phone it would be like, so let me ask you a question. Okay, hold on, I'll answer you when I can. You put the phone down, you go,
Right.
and then okay, answer the question, put the phone down. So
Right. And
So it
God,
opens up things that you don't expect every time a new technology comes, and I'm sure NFTs are going to do just the same.
it's hard to perceive what it's going to be and how it's going to fit into your life. And if it does, that's why it's there because it makes sense. And if it doesn't, it goes away.
Yeah, I mean, Steve Jobs famously said, and I'm paraphrasing, but he said, "I don't want to invent things. I don't want to sell products that people want. I want to sell products that people don't even know they want it yet." And that was just such
Yeah.
a great, and for all of us who are on that iPhone, and if you have an Android, he's the one who the reason why you have one. And the tablet and everything else, everybody made fun of that one. Remember the iPad? It's
Yes.
just a big iPhone, right?
Right. It's just a bigger version of the iPhone. Why would we want this? Now it makes total sense.
Now
It's
makes total sense. Now the computer is the part. I'm not sitting here that much. I'm on my tablet or on my phone. It's crazy.
right.
So
Right.
So, but thank you for explaining it to me. I'm sure a lot of people got some education on this. I don't know how many people are going to go out and start throwing Star Citizen $100,000 on a ship kind of money, but you know what? It's, I guess, if someone wants to pay for something, then there's a demand for it. It's a
And that
simple.
is that brings up a good thing. I should say that this is not financial advice, everybody. This is not financial advice. If you want to invest in NFTs, do so at your own risk. It is dangerous. Maybe you'll make a lot of money. Maybe you will lose all your money. So we're talking about just the things that are coming up. We're exciting about it, the prospects of it, but you know, we don't know.
Yeah, and if so, just piggyback on that. This is proof not to listen to us. I bought Dogecoin at 38 cents and it's been 14 ever since.
Oh no, Rob.
And 38 cents was actually low because it hit 72 at one point. So all
At this
those,
point, hold on to it and hope that Elon Musk pegs it to something, and then it'd be amazing.
it's been going up quite a bit lately. It was almost at a grand's worth of it. I bought like
Mm.
2,000 worth, and now it just shows me like $700-800 every day. But I'm not going to sell it because it's a loss. So I'll just wait. You never know.
No, exactly. You never know.
But what I will do with it, though, if it ever gets, let's say I put in 2,000, if it ever gets back up to about 1,500, I'm going to sell it and put it into Ethereum or something like that instead, which has a lot more, I think, long term
Yes.
viability.
Yeah, buy Ethereum, buy XRP, XLM. There's a lot of great ones out there.
Yeah.
And Ethereum, speaking, last thing I'll leave on NFTs, Ethereum is working with Loopring. They've announced that partnership. But Loopring is going to change the Ethereum gas fees completely. It's going to make it, I guess, much more computable with XRP and for transactional costs. But I don't think it'll come into the realm of that cost into competing, but it makes it more practical because some of the gas fees when you're buying NFTs and you're moving around, you could pay up $20, $40, $100, something insane, like prices that are just like it doesn't even make sense. So Ethereum is trying to solve that problem with the next version of Ethereum and with Loopring. So something to look out for right now. Otherwise, for anyone interested in buying NFTs, you can look at OpenSeas. But if you see those high prices in different places, just wait a little bit because it is going to get better with Loopring, and I know XRP is doing a lot. I should keep seeing you mention them, and yeah, that's it. So I guess that's a good spot to end it, and that does it here, guys. If you have a question on NFTs, put them up there because maybe someone else can answer it. We'll answer it if we know the answer, or we'll just discuss about it because this is fun for us. We love to talk about it, and I think in a future episode we'll go into cryptocurrency, which will be a lot of fun. And yeah, that's it, guys. So for Ready, Headset, Go, I'm Tony Hansen, and we're joined by Rob Sprance. And we'll see you next time. Thanks.